Before I had kids, I thought I don't want my identity to be a parent.
This was recorded at the Media Joint.
That is so rogue.
Boy, that's a bit rogue.
Is it even that rogue?
Welcome back to another episode of A Bit Rogue. In the studio today I have Ash Wicks, or better known as Two Doting Dads, one half of, and you may also recognise him from his TikTok and Instagram videos with the towel.
A towel, yeah, white towel.
White towel.
It's actually what do they call it? Nursing towel.
Oh, a little
Yep.
burping towel.
10-pack from Kmart.
Oh, darling, I got mine from Big W.
Oh, you're a big W girly.
Well, only for baby stuff because you can collect your rewards points.
Okay, fair cool.
Yeah,
There you
and the dummies I liked were there. So your online career, obviously that started from the videos.
Yeah.
What did your friends think at first? Did you get rinsed at all?
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Yeah.
I think it helped that it happened during lockdown.
Yeah.
So they couldn't
you can
rinse me in
say-
person.
Yeah, you're doing it in lockdown. It's just a hobby.
It was like, you forget, like when we all went into lockdown, you forget how much you missed like your co-workers in terms of the creative side of things. Like you'd have like open communication, and all of a sudden you're locked in. I just needed something. I was going crazy, so
I feel like mums can relate to that.
yeah. And there were so many people that started doing the same thing. But for me, I was like, I just need some sort of creative outlet. I never expected it to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, people just related to it, which helped.
So COVID's a gateway to your success.
COVID is the gateway to a lot of people's success, I think. Like I always say, like, I miss the lockdown just because there's little things like not having to do like the awkward family Christmas and stuff like that. You could just be like, so many good things came out of it. Of course, all the bad things.
So you hate your family?
Yeah, I hate them, yeah. A lot of bad things came out of COVID, of course, but yeah, heaps of like things.
What did you do pre-COVID?
I worked in recruitment. Well,
Random.
no, I wasn't a recruiter. I worked in what they call solutions. So like for CBA at the time, where I'd go in and I'd come up with the solution of how they hire to all the way when they fire.
So you wore a suit?
Yeah.
I could not picture you in a suit.
I've worn a suit a few times. I used to be a car salesman.
Really?
Believe it or not, for BMW, yeah.
Ooh.
That's where I...
What, Cole Crawford?
Yeah, I was.
Cole.
Yeah, I was at Cole Crawford's for a few years.
Nice. In the button-up.
Full suit, full tie.
I can picture you wearing that to the races, but not to work.
No, I'm so glad. Like, having to wear that on a weekend, like, that's not to the races is a bit of a bummer. But you could go straight to the races after. You'd be fine.
Fair. Speaking of races and sport, I've actually seen you walk past at a Manly game before.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I thought you were someone I knew, and then I was like, oh, no, it's just that prick from Instagram. I'm kidding. Have you ever been recognised, like, locally? Or not really because of the towel?
I get it. I get it a bit. Not locally, because I've just grown up and been around on the beaches for most of my life. So every now and then, like, someone will be like, "Oh, you're that guy." Like,
yeah.
Usually,
I feel like it's the beaches for sure.
Yeah, I usually get recognised outside of my area.
Okay.
When I was in Bali, I got recognised a heap.
That's real random, but a lot of
heaps
people
of Australians.
But from Perth. I feel like the Perthians like
The
podcasts. Well, what else would you call them?
Perthians.
We're not going to call them Westies. That's so
No,
rude.
Westies is rude here, but probably
Is
not
it
over
not
there.
there?
Easties would be
Maybe.
rude, wouldn't it?
I think Perthian's nice.
Let's go with Perth. Perthian sounds good. I went to Perth UFC last year, and not so much recognition.
taps on the
A
shoulder?
couple of the FIFO guys flying in and out of the airport there.
'Cause they've got time.
They do, but here and there, it's nice. I've never really had a bad interaction because of it. Thankfully, not that I can recall.
No one's yelled at you on the hill. You didn't sit in the hill, darling. I saw where you sat. You sit in the member stand.
Right in the front. I did have an interaction with someone. It was a friend of a friend it was actually at a Manly game, but he was a Bulldogs fan, and
Oh, they suck.
yeah, the Bulldogs weren't playing.
Yeah.
The Roosters were playing, but the Bulldogs got flogged that day.
One of those weirdos that wears a Bulldogs jersey.
He wore it.
Yeah, what a
Yeah,
loser.
loser, massive loser. Anyway, I was invited to a corporate box of a friend, and it was his friend that was there, and he was sort of like, he said to me, he goes, "Oh, I thought you'd be funnier." And I thought, "You thought wrong." And then we just went back and forth, and eventually he stormed out.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Couldn't take the heat.
couldn't take the heat, and my mate was like to him, he's like, "You're the sort of guy that would meet a comedian and go, tell us a joke." And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's
come
so
on, bro.
cringe.
That sucks.
That's like going up to Carl Barron and saying you're not very funny without having... Do you know who is naturally funny, who's in the jungle as well as Husey? He's come on the show. He
Yeah.
just talks and he's funny. So I get that. If someone's used to that and they go up to someone that's on social media and you are doing skits,
Yeah.
it's not like, you know...
I'm not doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, like your laugh isn't like crazy out there hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, no offense. I mean, it's not like a pig laugh. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If you've got a normal laugh, no one's going to
Yeah.
say
No one's going to say
straight
it,
off
yeah.
the bat.
Yeah, for sure.
I get that, but yeah, that guy needs to go.
Yeah, so that was like that's the worst interaction I had. I had someone jump out of a pub window, 2 stories, in the city once to get
That's a claim.
that was when I had a job too. I was where were we?
That's when you know you can quit.
I wasn't allowed to quit.
Oh.
Yeah, my wife wouldn't let me quit because I've got
Fair.
kids and a family I need to support, which is fair enough. I got made redundant, so she had no say in the matter.
Oh,
Which
was
was
that nice?
Can I put this up real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I'm like hunched over.
Is it your posture job?
Yeah.
Being made redundant, did you get a hefty pay?
Nah, I hadn't been. It was fine, but I think I was only there for like in this particular role for like 2 years. Yeah, to get hefty payouts, you need to be. I heard that there's someone actually sitting at CBA. I don't really know. I just found this out. That's been there for so long that has a box packed ready to be made redundant, and literally does no work. And they're like, we don't want to make you redundant because we're going to pay you out so much.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'd be the case with a lot of companies, but for me, not so much. I was thankful. I wasn't really reliant on it. Matt and I were so busy because we just launched the podcast. We were writing a book. We were doing all this stuff.
Oh, you've got a little...
I've got a kid's book. Yep.
Yeah, like a little picture book, or it's like a...
It's a picture book. Yeah, it's only like 32 pages or something. It's
Must
meant to
be
be
hard, no
bedtime.
kidding.
Yeah. I was like, we can write a book, but there can't be too many words because I'm not a
Yeah,
writer.
yeah.
Matt's pretty good, but we
What's
were
it called? Plug it.
Two Doting Dads and the Quest for Free Time.
Oh, The Quest for Free Time. That sounds like a parental book.
It is. It's you read it to your kids, of course,
But it's for you.
and it's the illustrator was really great, so it made it really fun, so the kids
Yeah.
can. And then it's wild that my kids are in it because I can't read it to them because they just want to look at themselves the whole time.
No, fair.
And it gets longer. Like when you go, like you would know your bedtime book. You're like, where's the shortest book you've got?
I literally will skip pages. Like we've got this one Bluey book, Shadowlands, and I'm always like, let's just skip to the cupcakes because they're at the very end.
Yeah.
Because usually if I'm reading a book, I start making it up halfway through. But even making up a story is kind of hard because I'm like, what does a 2-year-old want to hear about? Little worms?
Poo.
Poo. We do have a book called Grannies Don't Fart.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
Mm.
But it's a bloody long book.
Yeah.
So I have to make it up halfway through.
I know. I've hidden my book because it's too long for bedtime. Like I don't mind reading it to them here and there.
30 pages is a lot for bedtime.
Yeah, it's only a couple of words each. You know, it's not
I
too
know,
much.
but if you're laying down,
Yeah.
the blood's, you know,
Yeah,
maybe that's the rainy day
I've had
activity.
people say like who their kids want to read our book every night, and they're like, "Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks." Instead of being like a couple of minutes, I'm in there for like half hour. So
Should have done what Dr. Seuss done and done 20 books.
yeah, it honestly like it was such a long process. And now it's out. It's like, oh, cool.
Are
Like,
you one of those people that got stuck with a publisher and now you only have like a small percentage and then you have to halve it again?
well, we were like when we started the process, we had a few options for publishers, and we just went one with the highest advance because we
Yeah.
were like, we don't want to.
Fair.
We didn't do it to make the money. We did it for
fun.
For fun, and it was really fun. Like we did a launch where we did a live read to a bunch of kids and at a pub, so people could have beers and stuff as well. But it was such a long process, and Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again, but
You're full dad mode now, like full
full
dad
dad.
identity.
I do you know it's what's really funny. Before I had kids, I thought I don't want my identity to be a parent. You know
Yeah.
how like people make it their whole idea, and now I've got a parenting podcast. I've got a parenting book or a kids book. It's become nearly my whole identity.
I was actually going to ask you, like, is that a lot? Because for me, right, I come in here and it's an outlet for me. Like, I get to talk to adults and, like, you know, again, a creative
about your
outlet.
kid. Yeah. I get
This is
to.
a once-off.
I know, and it's like, what do
It's
you
not
talk
my
about?
fault. That's all he's got to talk about.
What do you talk about when you're not around your kids? You talk about your kids, right? Like usually that's how it works.
Yeah.
It's like whenever April and I finally get to have like a dinner together.
Yeah, that's
we're
fair.
like, don't talk about the kids.
Yeah.
But you just
It's
naturally
hard not
do.
because you just
Yeah.
love them so much.
Yeah, I suppose.
To be fair, I brushed my friends on the weekend though. Like one of them, so I went away to Tamworth for long weekend, but it was the same weekend length that he sees his dad every second weekend. So I'm used to him seeing him for that period.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, do you miss Banks?" Like wanting to talk about him, and I was like, "Yeah, I do,
Shut
but
up.
I'm used to it." And I
Yeah.
just walked away because I was like, I'm in Tamworth. I'm talking about Cowboys, not
Yeah.
the kids.
I know, and it like sometimes you want to just like.
Do you get switch off? Like, what do you do?
I feel like I don't because I
Do you
work.
surf?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little outlet.
Well, at the moment, I just collect surfboards. I don't actually surf.
Nice.
Yeah, you go through those phases where you don't have any froth and you're fat and you got a sore back. And
To be fair, this world's pretty fucking messy right now.
yeah, it's pretty shit. I think I paddled out last week once for like about 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm going in. I was just like, when you're
You
not
just don't
in,
have the stamina anymore, Joe.
when you're not in the when you're not in the rhythm of it. So I find that like working at home, doing what I do for a job, like I can have some days where I'm like never home, and then some days where I'm home all day.
Yeah.
I feel like I have zero routine, so switching off from the kids is really hard because it's like it's just not there. Like I'll be okay, I've dropped them off and I've got X amount of hours.
Yeah, but you're always thinking as well.
That's part of being a parent with young kids. And then also like when you talk to parents that have older kids, they're like, you never really stop thinking and
No.
worrying about them, which great.
Yeah.
So now for the rest of my life, no one told me that.
I'm gonna have fatigue.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Forever.
fatigue for the rest of my life. Well, they say mums never, when they give birth, their complete sleep, like makeup of their sleep is different now for the rest of your life.
I do not go into a deep sleep.
Yeah, no, you can. They say like you can completely ignore like traffic on the street out the front, but as soon as you hear like every noise
Yeah.
in your house now, like every creak. If a kid moves in bed, you're like, I can hear that kid move.
Yeah.
and I'm like that too now.
It's actually like a little bit like Chinese torture sometimes, like,
Yeah.
especially when you're really fucking tired. Like these storms lately, can they fucking not?
My kids have been pretty good. Like they were a bit scared yesterday.
Banks isn't scared. He's like, look at that. And I'm
Oh,
like,
okay,
dude, it's
well-
9 o'clock. Your
well, that's a
bedtime's
good-
6:30.
Well, that's a good result because like some kids are petrified. Like
My-
Macy's a bit scared, but
Mine's my dogs, the Chihuahuas. They've
oh,
got to go.
okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, I had to lock them in the bathroom the other day. I was like, I can't deal with the panting because you guys stinky breath.
Yeah, okay.
Too much for me.
Yeah, mine's got anxiety too, so she just
What type of dog do you
it's
have?
a Maltese Shih Tzu,
Oh yeah.
and she just shakes.
Did you get it from the pet shop?
No, we got it from
So you chose that breed.
yeah.
I chose my breed.
No,
so
my-
I'm not judging. I'm just wondering.
My wife chose that breed, but
No, fair.
she's
fair.
not white. That was I was like, I don't want a white fluffy dog. She's black, so she's pretty cool.
That's cool.
She's old though.
She
now.
will get the silver bits coming through.
She's
she's getting-
old. She's like 12.
Oh
But
wow,
she's-
you've had it
yeah.
for ages.
Yeah,
How
she's-
long have you been with your wife for since school?
No, I moved.
That was really nice of me. That just said that you were young.
Thank you. I'm not. I've been with April for like 14 years, 15 years.
That's a fucking long time.
It is a long time. So I moved back to Sydney when I was 20.
Oh, you moved away.
Yeah, my parents
Where'd you
moved
go?
me from Elanora to Tweed.
Fucking tell everyone your bloody address where you grew up.
Benson Street in Tweed. And then moved back and then...
Tweed, what was that
Meta.
like? Because you get all the coolie boys and stuff.
Yeah, I lived in Cooley for 6 months when we first moved up there, and then
Yeah.
moved to Tweed and went to Tweed River High with the thousands of people that went there. It was like a huge school. No
Character
fences.
building.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, honestly, I definitely missed Sydney, but like it was pretty cool up there. Like, it kind of felt like you're on holidays for a lot of it.
Yeah. Saw you do an episode with Ames.
Oh, yeah.
She does the We Don't Waste Food.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because I think she's awesome. Like, I think she's just so lovely, and I love her enthusiasm about like going to work and stuff. But for Canal, I can't eat half bit food. Like, I can't even share a drink with Banks. Like, get that shit away from me. I don't do snot and I don't do backwash.
Yeah, it's probably good for you in terms of like the kindy cough. Like if you
You can't sell it to me.
No, I'm saying that because you avoid it, it's probably good for you.
Oh, right, yeah.
But like, a lot of parents get sick because they share food. She was great. Like,
She's just smart though in the kitchen.
she's really smart.
She like whips out like.
Well, we cooked with her, and like she's like, just put it in there. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, it's gonna taste bad. Like, whatever. Like,
Dogs can eat it.
dogs can eat it. Yeah, like.
She's got 4 kids though. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, she's really good at it though. She is just like.
Like, how do you know when to pull out the baking yeast?
The what?
Oh, I think I got it wrong. Exactly. Like, what's the stuff? The baking powder?
High carb soda.
No, dude, we don't cook
The
with
flour?
that, do we? Baking flour.
Yeah. I guess
Self-raising
like.
flour.
Yeah, I guess like.
There's so many of them. How do you know which one to use? When
Just
to
experience,
use?
I
How do you
guess.
know if strawberry's going to go?
I mean,
with
we're
gelatin?
really getting like the world is really getting hold of Ames when she's in her late 30s or whatever. Like, think of like how many years of doing that before people saw
True.
it. So there's all this experience she would have had, and then she's like, "I'm going to put this online," and it's amazing. Like my sister was like, she's like the most relatable mum
No, she is
on the internet.
She's just normal. Like,
She's
we
so
love a normal
normal, and
girl.
like you meet her, and she's like,
Yeah, I saw her down at Kelly once. Even.
so humble,
Yeah,
super nice.
we love that.
Yeah,
we need that.
for sure.
We don't need people, winding up the kids to make funny content and this and that. We like to see mummies in action, but she's also funny. Like, she makes funny videos like you that are relatable.
Yeah,
yours
she's
are relatable
great.
too. Like, if I was married, but I'm not, so just like an outsider.
Different audience, yeah.
Different audience.
Yeah, she was great. I really liked that episode, and I think like I'd love to have her back on for sure because she's got heaps of stories. She's 10 years sober.
10 years sober.
Yeah.
Wow, weird.
Yeah, her husband's an architect.
I was wondering. I'm like, how do you live by the beach, darling?
Well, she was saying they bought that house. She was like, it was so run down with the thought of like eventually doing it,
Yeah.
and like she's like eventually being the
Yeah.
and that she's like, kids share a room, like
Yeah.
there's so much like, and you see she's like, I don't care if they put stickers on the wall, whatever, they
That's
could do
how
whatever.
I grew up. My parents were meant
And
to
I
reno.
love that, but
Yeah.
like. I don't own anything. Like I rent, so I can't do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna cost
Oh,
me
I have
all
to
my.
rent
cost
in one
me
of the
all
most
my-
expensive places in the world.
It is tough.
Oh.
Well, I actually have to rent off a friend because we can't afford to.
Well, you should not be putting stickers on the walls.
I
because
know,
that's
but I
friendship
reckon
over.
how she's great.
Oh yeah, she's very cool.
Mm.
I'm going to jump back to Matty J. Sorry, being annoying. Now that he's in the jungle and you're doing double work, and he's actually getting paid to be in the jungle, and technically, compared to like toddler life, I think being in the jungle would be a fucking dream. How does that make you feel?
I'm stoked that he's in there. It's kind of like
Be
Dad's away.
honest.
It's kind of like Dad's away.
Yeah, fair. Like
but
the bestie's gone.
yeah, like we've pretty much spent every day for the last 2 years together. So it's weird that I can't even contact him.
Yeah.
He's been gone for a little while now, but we did like a live stream last night. We live streamed his challenge.
That's cool.
So
wait, he couldn't see you though.
No. So we just live streamed what was playing
you
on
did a
10.
Gogglebox stitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with April, which was pretty cool, and we just had like a lot of our listeners come on and watch that, and like he did really well in the eating challenge. But I honestly, I
was going to ask, did you think he would do okay?
no, because we
Yeah.
did one. We did like
you
a mock
practiced.
one with the century egg too, which they had last night.
I'm not saying he's eccentric, but he doesn't strike me as someone that's like fearless.
He's been skydiving like 12 times. He's like, but
Yeah, but you've got a large man cuddling you. You know?
still.
I don't know. It's different.
But with the food here, he was really bad. So last night he did really well.
What do you eat?
What did he have? He had First, he had like some an array of bugs, different type of bugs. What was the other thing he
Would
had?
you ever do that?
No.
Oh.
No. So I don't really envy him going in there at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not. It'd be nice to get a break from your toddlers, but like at the same time, like you do miss them when you're away from them for like
especially
that
if you're
long.
like tired and vulnerable and hungry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like he's a big crier, so he cries a lot. So he's super in touch with his feelings, which is lovely. And but like, yeah, I think he would much rather be home. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Is he much different to other friends? Because, like, when you have different friend groups, right?
Mm.
And so, like, you're saying he's a bit of a crier, and it's probably made you a little bit more emotional than you used to be. Do you now go back to your other group, like your home group, and then your mates are like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, not really. I mean, Matt and I can have those vulnerable conversations with each other for sure. When I do have friends that you can't, you just know, you know what it's like. Some friends you're like, I wouldn't even bother with that person because they can't dig deep enough to find that. But
I think it is a lot of emotional intelligence. So
for sure, and like. A lot of the times when I do go back to my other friend groups, they sort of want to know what's happening on that side.
it is intriguing. The East want to know what the North doing. The North want to know what the East doing. So that's similar to me. Like I have an East group as well.
Yeah.
That are social media. You know this.
That's what they
stuff.
all are.
Yeah. Don't ever take me away from Narrabeen though. I'm staying there.
Yeah, I wouldn't move over there.
How did you guys meet? Like, is this a friend through social media and stuff? Oh.
So we met. I think he slid into my DMs.
Ooh, hot.
A while ago, a few years ago.
What, he just thought you were funny?
Yeah, I think he was like, content creators and try. I think we all try and get together and like at least try and collab with each other or something,
Do something.
Especially if you go into like meta events and you go into like all events and it's like
it's good to
you
have a
might
buddy.
as well. Yeah. So that's right. He was like, "Hey, I've got this like meta party. Do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure."
That's so nice.
Yeah. So that was the first time I met him. Was there, and then we made a couple of videos together that did pretty well, and we were like,
Nice.
let's just make a couple more.
I didn't know he was a content creator. Like, I just thought he was off his show. And
Yeah, so he started making content off the back of that.
Right.
I mean, you have the following. He's really creative, so he could have really made content about anything, really.
Yeah.
But we just started making videos together, and then I tried to convince him to do a podcast, and then he'd done a few here and there, and just never really had anything he liked. And then his wife obviously is so successful in the space. She had equipment at home, and we were just like, did a pilot once, and everyone really loved it. So we're like, well, let's just do it. Like, it's not going to cost us anything
as well. Like, even this is going a bit deep, but like parenting, I think is really successful in terms of like being relatable, and also like every time, let's say in marketing, I have someone they want to do like a PR send out. I always say athletes and parents. Like, parents have such engaged audiences.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, think of like, the like Ames, for example, we mentioned, like her audience is like so engaged, and like a lot of mum influencers and a lot of mum creators, their audience are like, they'll die by the sword with them. You know what I mean? Like Indy Clinton, all those guys, it's like they've got their own army of people that follow them. And I don't know what it is with parents. Like, we have like a really strong female audience, and they're super loyal, and they're like, they sort of live. You sort of live your life. You're living your life side by side. These people, because they're in the same boat, and that's where you get people who go like, you've got a 2.5-year-old. If you're listening to someone talk shit about their 2.5-year-old, you're like, how good's this? Let's talk shit about our kids.
Yeah.
And nothing bonds people more than like shit talking about someone else.
I have a little bit of a heavy one in terms of relatability.
Yeah.
So last year on TikTok, we know that girl was done because she was medicating her child to raise funds for GoFundMe, etc. A lot of the other mummies came out and were like, wouldn't have supported her if we knew that, Then there's been talk that on TikTok, they're going to crack down on monetizing from children.
Yeah.
And there is one lady, I think her name is Catherine, she one of her children has autism and he's nonverbal, and her point of view is, well, I'm, you know, educating other parents on what it's like, but at the same time she's monetizing because, you know, she is getting the, but it's like, how can you keep doing this if you don't get the money coming in? So I see both sides. As someone, I don't post my child. When I started this, I was never in the public eye. I'm never going to walk outside and someone's going to pat me. So I thought, I don't have the need to put him online.
Yeah.
But I see both sides. What do you see happening for TikTok? Or you're not really in the know with all of that?
With that one, I mean, if your kid's got a disability, and yes, she's like, I'm raising awareness. I'm trying to show people, like, people also like to be heard as well. They're like, I feel like I'm alone in this, and then they see someone online. So I like that people can find an outlet to be like, hey, someone else is going through the same thing. I think monetizing it, depending on where the money's going, if the money's going towards education for the kid, to help the kid, to help ease pressure, like, I'm all for that.
Same.
As long as you're not exploiting your kids. Like, I have my kids in my content here and there.
Yeah.
When I have a brand that's like really about kids and it's like my kids will want to use that, then I'm happy for them to be in it, but I'm not going to force them to drink a whiskey. No, you know what I mean? Like, I think if you're sensible about it, it's fine. But
I do think if some content creators will struggle if they weren't allowed to mainly use their children.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
A lot of them just vlog their kids.
Doing something stupid. Like, which is, you know, if it's a one-off and they're doing something stupid and it's really funny. Like, I had a video of Oscar walking around with it's like a office trash can on his head one day, and he banged into the wall and fell over. I'm like, that's great. Yeah. But like, I wouldn't be like, hey, put this on your head and push him into a wall. Yeah. Which some people would do that. Like, you look at Ruby Frankie, like the chick who... Oh, yeah,
that chick that got done. Well, this other chick I'm talking about, she's in Australia.
Yeah, she's from... Is she from North Queensland?
She's a Perthie, I think. Oh, maybe she's
from North Queensland, I think. Or something like that, where she was... She has a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah, I think she had 2 or 3 children, and it was the youngest one she was medicating to...
Yeah, see, that's psychotic. Like, she needs to be straight up locked up. Like,
100%. But one of the charges is monetizing of a child on social media, not even the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, I think there will be a change in the next year or 2 regarding content around children. I think it's fine to post your kids on your story or on your feed and stuff, but I don't think
there's a difference between like it being fun and you exploiting them.
Yeah.
So I think, like I don't have a problem with people making money off their family. Like you're the legal guardian of that person, as long as you're not exploiting them or you know, there's no foul play, then I don't have a big deal with it. And I get why. I see a lot of people, like, I mean, we had Steph Claire Smith on. She always covers up her kid's face.
Really? I thought he was online.
He was, and she's changed. She's changed, which is fine.
See, I cover Banks' face, right? Because my thing is, as someone that's a marketer, like, out of everyone should know better. Because I tell people, right, that have brands, get on your stories every day, talk to people. They want to feel connected. They want to feel like they know you. I just personally didn't want people feeling like they knew my child, because one time this was actually when I was pregnant. I was on my baby moon up on the Goldie, and I used to be a cheerleading coach like when I was like 18, long time ago, nowhere near when I was pregnant. And there was a kid running around the buffet, and I went to say hi because I was like, oh, I must used to coach them. But I was like, fuck, they're like 5 years old, and I didn't coach that, like I coached ages ago. And then I realized I followed the mum on Instagram, but I knew her name. I knew exactly who she was. She was running around by herself. Like, if I was a weirdo, like I could have just grabbed her and be like, hey,
I've got your kid.
Come over here.
Yeah, I know your name.
Chocolate.
Yeah,
but,
and like
that rattled me. So I was like, after that, I was like, I just don't want people feeling like they know him. Like, I don't care if my girlfriends post him, his dad posts him. Like, they're not. They don't have public profiles. I just don't want to document him every single day. Because I know I would. I don't have any self-control.
And that's the thing. People feel like then they have an opinion to say what you can and shouldn't do with your kids, stuff like that. And I get that. Like, I sort of like, I don't have anything to hide, so I also don't mind if my kids are in my stories and stuff or whatever.
I think it's also different though. Like, you have a majority female following, right? For me as a female, like, I don't post parenting stuff on my Instagram. So, like, I have a 50-50. I don't need random men that are, like, in their 40s knowing my child.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
don't sell anything.
Knowing them any more than just, like, you with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you posted a photo with your kid, that's as much as they probably would need to know.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, that's a kid, great. But I know what you mean. Like, some people put so much out there. And then, yeah, like people think that they're part of your life, and that's part. That is what social media is, right? Sometimes.
I have a quick question for
Yeah.
you. Do you have a rogue moment you could share? It
Moment.
doesn't have to be a parenting one.
Oh, what do you define rogue?
I like that you've asked that question because that means you haven't been watching.
Well, I want to know what you mean by, like, what sort of rogue moment do you want
Well,
from
it can
me?
be like, it can be something really gnarly, embarrassing, like explicit. It can be pre-dad times, can be a parental time.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
That's right. We can come back to it if you want.
Yeah, let's come back to it
All right.
if you don't mind. Oh, I'm just like mindful of what I want to share.
Darling, it's not ARN.
I know, I know. Anyway.
Well, every guest gets a game.
Okay.
And I thought, let's stay on theme of the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to grab a blindfold
No.
and we're going to play a game. I'm not going to make you eat anything.
Not going to make me eat anything? Okay,
No.
cool. Sweet.
I don't get in trouble. I don't know what type of money you got. Happy that you haven't watched this before because last time I tied up someone.
You're going to tie me up?
Oh my gosh, you might not even fit. It's got big fucking melon.
No, I got a pinhead. Have you not seen?
Who
Look.
told you that?
Oh, that's actually not too bad, but usually it's like there.
Is that too tight?
No.
Can you see anything?
Yeah, it's not even covering my eye.
Oh,
There you go. There you go. Got it. Hello.
look at me. Alright, stunning. I'm going to be a bit handsy, okay? Okay.
Don't hurt me.
No, I'm not going to hurt you. Oh my god, I'm shaking. Okay. I'm so scared. Okay, I'm going to use your hand, okay? You need to guess what this is.
Oh, no.
Give me 1 second. I'm fucking shaking.
Why?
Don't take the whole lid off.
If it's a creepy crawly.
It's okay.
Oh,
Put
no.
your hand in there, you've got to guess what it is.
Guess what that is?
Yeah.
Is that an egg carton? I have no idea what that is.
Okay, keep going.
Do I have to?
No, you can be done. Keep it on though. Keep it on. You're done. That's the first one. Done.
Okay, I don't know what that
Keep
was.
that on. That's fine. Keep that in mind.
Oh! I just headbutted the mic too. Put your paw in this.
No, she cannot.
Oh.
You could probably ditch the box because of the...
I'm not ditching the box. I'm sorry. That's too fucked.
Yeah, it's a bit rogue actually. It's a bit rogue.
Can you lean it over?
You
Yeah.
might have to stand up.
I have to stand up.
Maybe not. No, that's too much. Put your arm in this box.
Put my arm in this box.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fake snake.
No!
Sick!
Come on.
Did you look?
No.
The first one wasn't fake though.
What was the first one?
No, do it. Try the first one again.
No.
Yes.
Can I bring the first one back?
Yes.
Have you got a? Is it a spider?
No, it's not a spider. I didn't want anything to bite me like that. Oh god.
I was right with the egg crate though, right?
Yeah, you're looking, aren't you?
I'm not looking. How am I looking?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
Let's have a look here.
You could probably eat this.
That's some sort of bug, right? Can I take my blindfold off now?
Yeah, have a look.
What is it?
Heaps of them.
Ew.
Oh, there's one.
What is it? A cricket?
I think so.
Where did you get a box of crickets from?
It's actually food. They're like, oh, do you have a reptile? And I was like,
One's coming in, yeah. This was terrible, guys. Come on. At least, like, you should have covered it in, like, lube or
I
something.
did.
Soaked it up.
I told you. She was
I
testing
did
it on me
cover
while
it.
I was at the desk. And
I did it like 50 times. I did water first. Oh, I thought that was the cricket.
Nah, that's a
That
spider.
one can live there then. That's not part of it, but I was going to get a rat. And I thought, nah, what if it runs out? Then I'd feel so
rat?
bad. Rat, there's a rat in here.
Oh my god, it would have bitten me.
Yeah, how did you know?
I'm pretty good like that. I've got a rogue moment for you.
Go on then.
I'm quite a petty person.
Yeah?
One time my wife and I were on the way home from, where were we coming from? We were coming back from Europe. Yes, we were coming back from Europe. We're on an aeroplane, and the girl in front of us on the aeroplane, she was quite agitated the whole trip. You know, it's like a long flight. This was from the Dubai leg, so the really long leg. She was really impatient. She was probably like 30s. I think she was a Kiwi. I can't remember. Anyway, but she was really rude to like everyone, like the whole time. Like,
I was having a bit of a come down.
yeah, she was like ruthless, and I was like, just like getting so angry with her. I didn't even know her. You know when you do
Kick the
that?
back of the
Yeah,
seat.
you're like, I fucking hate this person. Anyway, we landed.
Yeah.
She stood up while the plane was still like rolling to get her bag out. We stopped. She then proceeded to push everyone over, all these oldies coming back from Europe, over to get to the front to get off the plane first. I don't know, like I get like people in a rush. It just really pissed me off. Anyway, when we got up to get off, I noticed that she'd left her iPad behind.
No.
So I picked her iPad up and I walked about 20 seats in front and just slipped it into a seat pocket of a random seat.
Oh, you naughty man.
And then I walked off the plane and saw her waiting and telling the flight attendant where her iPad was when she wouldn't have known where it was because I've hidden it into a seat, random seat.
Sucked in because
So
I
the-
would have taken it and she would have just had to like go somehow
Yeah.
ship it to her.
So that's my rogue moment.
I love that honesty hour. We listen and we don't judge.
Thank you.
I like that. That's
My
a
wife
good one.
hated it. She was like, don't fucking do it. And I was like, no, like, for 14 hours, she harassed everyone about how slow the plane was going pretty much. Then she knocked over a bunch of people on the way out. And I thought, like, I could have just left it there and been like, that's funny enough. But I thought I'll make it real tricky for her because the flight attendant would have had to wait for
She would've
everyone
gone
to
to the
get
seat.
off the plane.
Yeah.
Then for the flight attendant to look for it for that long, not to find
Imagine
it.
if she had a connecting flight too. Her bags would have been at the collection. They
I
wouldn't
hope
have even
she
been
had
in
a
there.
fucking terrible day.
Sucked in.
Anyway, that's my moment.
Perfect. I like
Thank
that
you.
story. That's a nice rogue moment. Well, thank you so much for coming in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Ash from Two Doting Dads. If you guys want to listen, I'll pop it in the Spotify bio and the Apple bio and the YouTube bio.
Just put it all in all
I'll
the
put it in all
bios.
the bios.
In the show notes. Put it in every show note you have.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to A Bit Rogue, where we uncover the stories of athletes, artists, and celebrities with their most rogue moments. Episodes dropping every Wednesday.